I observed 1 hour in kindergarten through 6th grade and 1 hour in inclusive sight. My first one I did was kindergarten, and I observed at Westside Elementary School in Searcy with Mistress Vogel. I really liked this grade because you get to communicate with the kids and teach them new strategies that they've never learned before. Miss Vogel did a very good job at that. Her grow, she was very in control of the classroom, and just the different activities that she did with them helped you know that she really did care if they learned. When I arrived at my observation, they were on the learning carpet and they were doing a rhyming exercise, and she had up on the smart board different animals, and she would say a word, and if the first letter rhymed with what the animal was, then they would match it, and each student would get to go up to the smart board and pull one of the animals to which one they thought it was, and then everybody would clap for them. And I really liked that about her classroom. As far as a grow, I wouldn't really say that there was anything for her to do any different, because she even rewarded the kids when they would get something right. She had a little trampoline in the corner of her room, and they would each get to take 5 jumps or 10 jumps, just however many went along with it. But I really enjoyed her classroom. The next grade I observed was 1st grade, and I did that also at Westside Elementary School in Searcy, and I did that in the classroom with Miss Marino. I enjoyed this grade, but I didn't really enjoy Miss Marino's teaching style. Her grow, she did want her kids to learn, and she did want to help them. But as far as her grow, it was really overwhelming. She had her classroom decorated in this jungle theme, and it was very distracting while I was in there. So I'm sure it's very distracting to a lot of 1st graders. However, when I first got there, they were all doing math. And when they were doing the math, they were all gathered around this one little table. And she had about 22, 23 students. So when they were all gathered around, the kids in the back, they weren't paying attention at all. They did not know what was going on. They were just walking around the classroom. And it just seemed to me like she didn't have very much control in it. However, I did like how she did the little groups to make sure each of them understood. But the ones that weren't paying attention, there was no way that they could understand that. But after the different desks, they went all to the carpet and did number talk, and she showed them some very good examples, so I did like that on her teaching style. She would let each of them pick different ways to multiply and different methods to choose to get their number, and that one was very good. The next grade that I did was 2nd grade, and I also did that at Westside Elementary School in Searcy, and I was in Miss Anderson's 2nd grade classroom, and I absolutely loved Miss Anderson. She was very sweet, and she was a very, very good teacher. When I arrived at my observation that morning, the teacher was reviewing over all the work before the day before work, and she said that she did that every morning, which was a glow. I really thought that was a good idea, because when she wanted to make sure they understood everything that happened the day before, so she reviewed it in the morning. So they would know exactly what had happened the day before, so they would know everything to expect. During that time, they did a lot of writing skills and reading skills, and each of them would go to different stations, and either they would read, or they would write, or they would pretty much just do stuff to help them to improve their reading and creative writing. As far as a grow, I didn't see much that she needed to change. However, when they did change out classrooms, I think that she should have made sure that each kid understood what was going on before they left the classroom. That way, when they got to the next classroom, changing the stations, they could pick up right where they left off. The next grade that I observed was 3rd grade, and I observed 3rd grade at Kensett Elementary School with Miss Johnson. I really enjoyed third grade. I didn't think that I would enjoy it, but I did. When I arrived there, they were just beginning the day, and she had, the way they had it set up, she had a class for 30 minutes that morning, and then it switched to a different class, and she had some more kids come in. The students were practicing their cursive while I was there, and my glow for her, she was very determined they learned that cursive. Like, she would go over and would even help them trace it, and then she would trace it again and just make them keep doing it over and over so that way they would learn the cursive. She did examples on the board, and she was very encouraging to the students because this one little boy was just having so much trouble with his big S's, and it took him a while to get it, but she was so encouraging to him, and once he got it, he got a reward, and it was really neat to watch. The children's reading skills in there were very good. She made sure she worked on their reading skills and writing skills a lot. As far as her grow, I don't really see any growing that she needs to do. Because, like I said, she was very encouraging as the students were working on cursive, and I really enjoyed being in there with her for third grade. In fourth grade, I did it at Kensett Elementary School also, and I was supposed to be in the room with Miss Lee, but she was out sick, and they didn't know until that day, so there was a sub in there. But the sub actually was a teacher. It just wasn't the teacher that was supposed to be in there. So they were still taught while I was there. The sub, there's a bunch of girls for her. I guess a glow, she was really trying. But the girl, she didn't really know how to approach teaching the kids. She was a teacher, but I don't think that was her grade, or I don't know if she was a teacher at the time. I think that she had been a teacher and maybe was retired. I'm not really sure, but she didn't have very much control of the classroom at all. A lot of the kids just kind of ran over her and didn't listen to her. She had to tell a few students numerous times to I messed up. She had to tell a few students numerous times that they needed to be quiet and calm down because everything they told her that they just didn't listen. So she had to go outside. And she had to send them out, and then she would have to bring them back in. They did a lot of work on their laptops that day, but she like I said, she did teach them, but there was a lot that just did not want to be taught in that class. The next grade that I observed was 5th grade, and I also did that at Kensett Elementary School in the 5th grade classroom with Miss Ellis. Miss Ellis was a very fun teacher. She taught math and science. The glow for her, she was a very fun teacher. Like, she made everything they did interesting. She even had a turtle in there to experiment with and let them play with. But her teaching skill was very good. When I first got there, they had just got done with their lab, so I didn't see them do any science, but the whole time I was there, they did math. Well, there was this one little boy in the classroom that had a lot of trouble with multiplication. She had made a Pringle can for him and put numbers on it, and you could slide it, and any number that you slid to would show you how to do the multiplication, and it would give you the answer. And that really helped him know his multiplication tables, because the math they were doing, if you didn't know your multiplication tables, then you didn't know, you wouldn't be able to figure out the answer. So she really worked with him a lot, and every time he got it right, she would reward him good because he was really working hard on it. Most of the students, they knew their math pretty well, and the way she did it, she would write down a problem, and they would have their own little boards, and they would work it out and then hold it up, and she would go around and look at all of the different ways they worked it out and tell them what they needed to work on and what they didn't need to work on. My next grade was 6th grade, and I did that at Judsonia Elementary School with Miss Beth Cummings. When I arrived at the observation, this Miss Beth was just getting in there, and this was another math class. That's all she teaches is math. And they worked on quite a bit of things. When you first go in there, they have something called a bell ringer, also number talk. And she has 3 of them written down, and they have to have them worked out on their little boards by the time the bell rings. And after the bell rings, they would go in there, and she would work them out on the board, and she would look at how they worked them out, kind of like the last class that we talked about, and see what they needed to change. After all that, they all went back to their desk, and they did a lot of worksheets while I was in there. The way she would do it, she would give them their worksheet, and she would let them work it out, and then she would help them. And I think that's a glow for her, because I think that it's good that she would let them work it out on their own first. Even they had laptops to look up definitions if they didn't know anything. And so they would learn it, and then she would teach them. So I think that's a glow. And a grow, I don't really see any growths for her, because I think that she did everything very well. The last school that I observed in was the Sunshine School, and that was my inclusive site, and it was at Searcy. And I was in the preschool room. However, it had 2 preschoolers, 3 kindergartners, a couple first graders, and a couple second graders, just depending on their skill level. But I loved the Sunshine School. I think that was my favorite one to observe at. The teachers they were so nice and so good with the kids. The kids were so friendly. I absolutely loved this one little girl. She clung to me the whole time I was there. There were 3 teachers in the room, Miss Angie, Miss Jenny, and the other one wasn't there much, so she just kind of came in and out, so I didn't really catch her name. But throughout the day, the therapist, or throughout the hour I was there, but they said throughout the day, the therapist would come in and out to get each student and then bring them back, but they have the same kids every day. Their glows, they're awesome with those kids. I don't have anything to complain or they need to grow about, because they were just awesome. They would work individually. They each had a basket, and they would work individually with the kids, and each basket had what the kid needed to work on. And like if the kid wanted to play or something, they would like get a toy and let them bring it over there, or they would get rewards. They had snacks. But each child they worked with individually to make sure they understood what was going on. And I really liked that about the Sunshine School. They were just so patient. But I enjoyed all of my observations that I did, and I can't wait to be a teacher.